Welcome, everyone. My name is Chris Duncan. I'm the trade show and event specialist for Balluff Incorporated. And today we're going to be reviewing some common applications and some technologies that help in automating metalworking and metalworking processes. Today I'm going to be talking with one of our experts on the topic, our industry manager for metalworking, Jason Hughes. How are you doing today, Jason?
Great, Chris. How are you?
Doing good. So Jason, the first one that we wanted to talk about today was in-die sensing. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that application?
Yeah, so this is a trend that has been growing for the last several years, but in most of your stamping applications, customers are starting to implement sensors inside their die for die protection or in-die sensing. And these are there to detect the presence of a part, or maybe even the absence of a part, where maybe we need to knock a hole out, or we're looking for a feature in a part. And so those are there to make sure that we have the part positioned in the right place before the press comes down and kicks the part out.
Okay. And so what kind of problems in that process made it so that automation is helpful?
Well, so a lot of die crashes, downtime, maybe the part didn't get, the metal didn't get fed to the right place and the die come down and cause a die crash, or maybe a slug wasn't knocked out of a part and it fed to the next station and caused a die crash. So now people are implementing more and more sensors to detect those features, to make sure the part is positioned in the correct place, to keep from having a die crash or excessive waste and increased downtime.
So what kind of technologies have you seen to help solve that problem?
So there is not a one size fits all with this. There's a wide variety of things that you can use that Balluff has to offer. Everywhere from your standard inductive proximity sensor that comes in a variety of sizes and form factors to fit in the die the right way, to photoelectrics, light grids, analog inductives, ultrasonics, you name it, depending on the part you're trying to detect and the room that you have on the die to mount the part. It could be a wide variety of things.
Okay. And then I know that connection between those different devices and to the controller itself is an important issue in metalworking. Can you talk about what kind of technologies you've seen that work best for the connection side of things?
Yeah, so the way it's typically been done in the past is as you have these sensors, you would wire them to just a multi-port block, and then that multi-port block would go to a big industrial multi-pin connector, like a 19 or 23 pin connector. And then, as you set the die in place, the operator would have to actually go and physically plug that connector in to place to power up the sensors in the die.
Okay. And what kind of technologies have you seen to help with that problem?
So the problem with that is a lot of times when they're plugged and unplugged, the operators, the pins get bent, they get broken. These multi-pin connectors take a while to actually rewire, so that's more downtime. A big problem that we've seen with these is the hydraulic fluid actually deteriorates and breaks down the housing of the connector. So the solution that we've had a lot of success with is using our inductive couplers, where you actually have a base unit mounted to the press, and then you have a remote unit mounted to each die, and then you have all of your sensors going to an IO link expansion IO block on the die. And when you put the die in place and you line it up and the remote and base line up together, we actually pass power and IO over a 5 millimeter air gap.
Okay. And so that helps with those disconnections.
Yeah, so now the operator doesn't have to worry about plugging and unplugging, bending, breaking pins. Another thing that I've seen is, they go to change the die out and the operator forgets to unplug it. Well, then they just rip the connector completely apart. Or sometimes the base unit on the press is on a long cord, and so when they unplug it, they throw it on the floor and it gets run over by the fork truck. All these things cause more downtime, more hours to wire up and rewire, and so using inductive coupler is a really clean solution to eliminate all those problems.
Okay. And then the information that we're getting from the machine, one of those things that help with that is RFID. Can you talk a little bit about how RFID, that technology, is in automating some processes in metalworking?
Yeah, so a couple of different ways we can do this with this type of application, like stamping. I mentioned a minute ago you would have an IO link expansion IO block on the die. We actually have one that has ID data capability built onto the block. The way I like to describe that is it's like writing a license plate tag number to that block. So now when that die is put in place and it lines up the inductive couplers, it passes that ID data across that inductive coupler and tells the press control package which recipe to load. That way they don't load, because the recipes today are manually loaded by the operator. So an operator could load the wrong recipe and it could cause a die crash. So this helps prevent that. Another way we can do it is by actually attaching an RFID tag directly to the die, and then have a reader line up to read it when the die is in place. You want to use this if you wanted to write more data to that die, like maybe you wanted to track maintenance records of when maintenance was done, who did it, how long it's been running, how many hits it's had. That kind of stuff can be written to a tag that's attached to the die.
Okay. And then all of these different sensors that are used to create a good solution, like you're saying, there's not a one size fits all. There's all different kinds of technologies and things. Now, connecting those all together, networking those all together is an important factor. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of technologies or what kind of applications you've seen that are helping with automation of those processes, networking those sensors together?
For sure. IO Link is the way most people are going. We've had a lot of success with IO Link in press departments. I mentioned a minute ago the IO Link expansion IO block. By having that, we can get a lot more diagnostics and information out of these sensors versus just on off. We can actually more troubleshooting information. We can tell you exactly which sensor is faulted when there's a fault. All of this information, the RFID information, all passed over the inductive couplers to an IO Link master. So a lot more diagnostics available for you by using IO Link, and everything's quick disconnect, M12 quick connect. So if you have to change a part out, it's easy to change out. It's a quick change out, and then also we have all the cables and connectivity to connect these parts together.
Right. Yeah, I know that. We have the different mounting, the different sensors, the different networking, and the cables as well. So yeah, Jason, is there any other kind of closing thoughts that you would like to mention about some of these technologies or applications?
I guess kind of in closing, I covered a whole lot of stuff really quick, from IO-Link to various types of sensors, measurement devices, connectivity, RFID, in a stamping application example. But keep in mind that these devices and these types of applications can be used in a wide variety of applications, not only in stamping, but in appliance, automotive, packaging, food and beverage. So they can be used in a variety of applications.
Okay. And then, so thank you very much, Jason, for going over some of those technologies, some of those applications. And to our viewers, just again, please be sure to reach out to us with any questions about your specific application. We'll have an email address listed on the webpage. We'll have Jason's email address as well listed on the webpage if you have questions for him, so you can contact him directly. Contact your Balluff representative if you have questions. Well, I know that we have Balluff representatives that have visited facilities, and if Jason has done it and still can do it a bunch, visiting facilities, looking at your specific application to learn how to automate those processes, how to help with some of the issues in those processes. And visit our website. That's got a lot of really great information as well. And also, if you would like to learn more about some of the things that were discussed today, check out our other 2 videos on this webpage. We have an overview of automation and metalworking, and then also we have a where we go over one of our trade show demos, seeing some of the products that we talked about here. And thank you for viewing our video.